Welcome to the Chris Bianchi Show. Music, entertainment, and all-around life discussions.
Wow, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning back in. What a crazy few years it has been, to say the least. But I'm back, and we're going to start fresh, with the Chris Bianchi Show. So thanks again for anybody who did tune into the madness before. But starting fresh here, we're going to really dive in and talk about music, life, entertainment, festivals, and all kinds of cool stuff that's going on kind of in my world. And I'd love to hear from more of you with it. So, going into the summer wrap-up here of 2022, what a year it has truly been. For music, for engagement of fans, for new music that's come out, and obviously for festivals. To me, a crazy thing that I saw, and I knew one day it would come, or I should say I always hoped one day it would come, but the reunion of Pantera. I think that's so crazy. I think that's awesome that they're going to continue, the legacy out there of the Abbotts and of the brand, and not just for a cash grab or anything like that, but more so just to let new audience discover it. I love Pantera, and I didn't get into them even until I was a little bit older. By then, they had already stopped playing. So, I'm looking forward to seeing them, even with a little bit of a change of a lineup. I know it's still there in spirit and stuff. So, kudos to that camp and what's going on over there. I'm really stoked about it. Festival wise, where to begin? We were very fortunate to do our second year partnership with Incarceration Festival. That's a huge fest that takes place every year in Mansfield, Ohio. It's actually held on the haunted Old Mansfield Reformatory Prison grounds, which is just such a cool and unique experience to even be there and see the place and walk through it. I know they've hosted numerous films there and music videos. I know the biggest one is the Shawshank Redemption movie. They filmed a lot of that there. So there's a lot of movie artifacts you can see right inside the prison. And right outside, obviously, is filled with stages. And there was so many incredible bands that had played Spirit Box. And, you name it, basically every awesome band was there. As well, we got to host our CB Entertainment stage, which is really important because it's something that's not only a labor of love on my part and, our team's part of CB Entertainment, but for the bands especially. Most of these festivals don't have a place where there's somewhere for new and up-and-coming artists or even a little bit established nationals still breaking in and stuff to play. They have a lot of contests and there's a lot of wishy-washy things, but we wanted to have somewhere where we could help curate, bring something cool and great music-wise, artists that we know could bring the show and bring, the atmosphere and energy that might not get those opportunities elsewhere quite yet. So, we're really thankful to work with Dan, the founder of Incarceration, obviously, who's been doing that for many years under a couple monikers, and as well Danny Wimmer Presents and their entire team who have came in over the last year or two and been also really incredible. That's a brand and a company, and Danny Wimmer himself, of course, I look up to, as being, an artist manager and coming from one side of the business to always curating events. And I've been booking shows and booking concerts and booking my band's own tours even for, on the other side, better side of probably 15 years now. So, seeing somebody like him who's a little bit younger still and hip to what's going on, as well, not such a corporate entity. It's not an AEG, a Live Nation, or something like that. Again, nothing against those companies at all. They're great at what they do. But to see that, it inspires hope for somebody like myself who has a dream to keep doing something cool like this and curating, my own festival, which is the Summit Music Festival. So throughout the weekend, it was crazy at Incarceration. We had the campground stage going as well. Their campground over there was totally sold out. I think over 2,000 campers were there, partied well into the night. I think 3 a.m. one night they were out rocking. We had bands playing, fans playing, even through a little bit of rain sprinkles and storms. They were out getting it and just having a blast of a time. So I think that was really awesome and inspiring for myself as well, all of our bands, to get everybody together, have everybody in one area over a weekend, kind of like a big family reunion. And not only that, but for them to get some training as well behind the scenes to see how a major festival production works, how, the odds and ends works and the staffing and kind of how many people it really takes across the board for that to become a reality. So thank you again for the Wimmer and Jansen for that opportunity. Another one that is really close to me, and of course it's because it's my own festival that I've curated, and this thing has been, oh man, a labor of love over the last, 4 years now. I mean, I initially started this idea of wanting to have, again, like a family weekend reunion thing where I could bring all of my bands, a couple cool national bands, into like a camping experience where we could all collaborate, get to know each other, hang out and party, but not have the stress and pressure as well of like, this is a mega event, there's all these things needed and whatever. So that's how Summit Fest was born, Summit Music Festival here in Akron, Ohio. I found our local fairgrounds, and they had a huge, amazing space there that was customizable to kind of our needs, and they were understanding of the idea and the vision that I had approached them with. Just so happened they had everything we needed for space, for camping, for the arena setup, for everything there to be able to not only start, but to grow and continue expanding there on those grounds. So that's where Summit Music Festival was found. Last year, we ended up having a band like Saving Abel was one of our headliners, The Bunny the Bear, a handful of other awesome nationals and local bands throughout the day. And that went over well. It was a good learning experience, to say the least. In this second year, which was just about 3 weeks ago, give or take, we did Summit Music Fest 2022. And taking it a step further, we brought 2 stages in this year. We had Unearth, Impending Doom, Dropout Kings, Hunt the Dinosaur, Alika, The Convalescence. I mean, so many incredible nationals, as well. Again, the locals come on board, and everybody worked and did their part to make this something special. So, I mean, it was a labor of love. It grew. It was an awesome time and party. We even were able to get some cool sponsors and partnerships on board to help with the bands and with other things like that. So a big shout out to Liquid Death and Blasco, one of my mentors. I always look up to you. Huge shout out to them for being a part of it, as well to Kristen and Red Bull for coming in and help hook us up with some great tables and some atmosphere, some drinks for the bands and staff and things like that. So, man, the things you go through, though, to set up your own festival, if anybody really realizes, oh my God, is all I could say. I mean, you start with the idea and you get your vision, but then you need the venue. You have to find the right venue and get the price of that. So from there, it's just one thing after another. It really opens up. I mean, you have to find your headliner and negotiate. And then you get into things that I have learned now along the way, but that you just don't anticipate. Of course, those insurance and coverage and fire marshals and permitting and special permits for this and that every way you turn. So, man, I mean, I'm learning quick. It's a lot to take under. So, I mean, another huge thanks as well to Brian Latman, one of my founding partners a long time ago that helped start CB Entertainment, and his whole team too, for just helping keep the weekend smooth, keep everything rolling. I mean, there's a million thanks due for that, because it really does take a team to even try to pull it off. So on to the next one that I can think of is Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which, man, I mean, I've heard all kinds of stuff about it, but yeah, no, I know. But I mean, honestly, I had some conversations with John Sly. He's been great to me. He's been very transparent. And you know what, again, as I was just saying about doing my own festival, I absolutely understand how stressful and insane it is. So, I mean, the fact that he even attempts to put something on that big for everybody to enjoy, I mean, beyond kudos to him, because I'd like to see anybody else even try to do a fraction of that. I mean, it's damn near fucking impossible. It is so hard. So the fact that there's growing pains over the years of that and stuff, I mean, I'm appreciative to see both perspectives of things on what can be fixed and what, is going well from the fans. But I mean, we had 2 bands on there. John was really great to us and was able to hook up 2 of our artists to get a performance on there. And both of the bands have nothing but great things to say. They said they were treated incredible at Blue Ridge by the staff, by the fans, everybody. The staging was great. The production was great. So, I mean, overall, it was a really awesome experience. I wish I could have personally been out there, just to take it all in and give my own perspective on it. And also to chat with John and just to see how it was going for them, again, in a personal atmosphere instead of kind of online hearsay of things. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, kudos to that team for putting something huge. I mean, maybe if not the biggest hard rock or heavy metal fest going on in the United States at this point. And I mean, man, I'd like to see, again, anybody else try that. I mean, that's just nuts. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be a labor of love. And I think that's what the artists now, especially up and comers, but the bigger bands too, it's not about as much touring anymore as it is just, take these 6 festivals, these 8 festivals, that'll be pretty good paydays. And then just build a little bit of touring around each of those and call it a year for the most part, So I don't think there's as many tour opportunities now for growing artists to get out and support and stuff like that. So that's where we are posed the new challenge on top of, the Spotify playlists that everybody wants and all that stuff, is how do we get creative and kind of take it back to the roots? And this is where my mind's at right now, is like, I want to build my own tour packages, find the right promoters that are willing to work with us as a team, build it up old school again, get some awesome locals and send these bands out and do packages that are meaningful, that play awesome markets, and that can keep the bands growing and create something fresh out there. Because again, there's such a lacking of like good rock, good metal anymore that comes out and that's fresh. In my personal opinion, it's all like the same kind of cut and dry, wants to be, on Sirius Octane and, wants to be on this playlist. And again, not dogging that, I totally get it. But I think there still needs to be like more original, more something that brings it back to the feeling. Like when I got into music, I loved going to concerts and discovering new bands, and there was a vibe even beyond just wanting to go to a show like that everybody had. And I think that's what's lacking right now in music with the digital side of things, is like the texture of feeling. So we're going to work hard to try to keep creating something like that. And we'll be back again for another episode next week to chat some more and maybe get a special guest in or something. So I appreciate everybody listening and tuning in. If you have any questions or anything about your music, want to make a comment, whatever it is, the best place to find me is on Instagram, Instagram.com/Chris Bianchi 1. You can find me pretty much anywhere else, chrisbianchi1.com. And thanks again for tuning in.